Let's take a look at Manitech skincare line of products. You know, it all began with a fellow named Haru. And Haru had an idea. His last name is Nato. He had swum competitively and had become quite wealthy. And he could afford to be a swim coach. In fact, if you remember Mark Spitz, who won, I think, 6 different Olympic gold medals in swimming years ago, Haru was Spitz's swim coach. And he was fascinated by water. He was trying to figure out how to make water wetter so it could get in and out of the cells faster to hydrate and cleanse. And he made a sizable contribution to the Dalai Lama's orphanage, and the Dalai Lama wanted to meet him. And he found out that Haru was interested in water and sent him down the Hunza Valley to study the water down there, the glacial milk, because the average lifespan was about 120 years. Most Americans are dying 60 years early. And so he was enthralled. He spent a couple months down there and then came back to Japan, and I think worked about 7 or 8 years before he had developed wellness water. And it's really quite remarkable water. Along the way, he heard about Manitech products, and he was very impressed with Manitech products, and he was hoping that we would be impressed with his water, because he developed this special filter. So not only did you get clean water, but you got enhanced water. And here's the water bottle. And what he developed was a filter at the bottom, and this would filter out all the bad stuff. But then in the sleeve there were 3 stages, and the initial stage is magnetic induction, which lowers surface tension, increasing solubility, basically makes the water wetter. Then there's a infrared ceramic sleeve section here, which increases negative ions from about 100 to about 11,000, and they act as antioxidants in the body, so that's a good thing. And then the last section up in here is a Tycho stone ground up, and this is the only stone I know of that has medicinal properties. It's a natural antibacterial and antifungal rock. And so when you put them all together, you get water coming out the end, which is very unique. Can't be found anywhere else. They did a lot of research. He knew that he'd have to have his documentation before he came to Manitech to see if we'd like to market this filter. And so he did some work with the Kanika Pharmaceutical Company in Tokyo, and it's a private laboratory that studied rats and used this enhanced water in 1996, and the rats ended up living 25% longer than they were living on regular water. And then he went down to Hillsdale Farms in Lake City, Florida, and there a comparative study of poultry health and performance took place using this wellness filter, and they discovered that they had a 20% decrease in mortality. The average chicken ended up laying 4 more eggs than would otherwise be the case. And then in Salt Lake City, Utah, and this has been repeated about 4 times at different dairies, but they gave wellness water to the cows, and they had about almost a 9% increase in the amount of milk they gave. The somatic cell count decreased from 200,000 cells per cubic centimeter to 100,000, 50% drop. And then the Japanese Olympic Scientific Research Team discovered a 50% reduction in lactic acid levels and an increase in the 2,3-DPZ enzyme and hemoglobin levels. The Hippocratic Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida, did a private study on different blood levels, and in 21 days showed a much greater increase than expected in hemoglobin levels. So high performance athletes, that would be of great interest to them. We also learned that in Idaho, of course, when you get a crop of potatoes come in, you go from 0 to hundreds of thousands of pounds of potatoes. And fortunately, they have a good shelf life, but inevitably you lose about 15% to mold and fungus. And they discovered that when they sprayed a mist of wellness water over the potatoes, the mold couldn't grow, bacteria couldn't grow. It was bacterial static. Well, that interested Manatech, that alone. I mean, we were glad for the water, but we were working on a skincare line of products. And by the way, if you'd like more information, you can go to wellnessfilter.com. But this wellness water caught the attention of the Japanese Ministry of Health and is now the only water approved for its hospitals and administration buildings. But what interested us about the water was, and the big problem with skincare, I mean, these ointments are good for the skin, but it's a catch-22. You're between a rock and a hard place because mold and fungus and bacteria love to grow in all this ointment as you're using your finger and going back and forth. And so legally you have to have a preservative in the ointments. Well, a lot of these preservatives are parabens, and preservatives are harmful. They cause all sorts of problems. They're supposed to kill bacteria, life. Antibacterial is antibios is life, and a lot of these different parabens are showing up in breast cancer tumors. And so Manatech was wondering, is there a way we can move away from these kind of preservatives? And when we discovered that this water is bacterial static, we got to thinking, well, maybe we could use water as our preservative. And it was approved. And so it goes on very light. It doesn't have a mineral oil base, very smooth, and you get an amazing 80% improvement in skin hydration after just one application. The stuff does not have to be refrigerated. It's fragrance-free. It's colorant-free. It's non-comedogenic, which means it won't cause acne. It has been allergy and ophthalmologist tested. It's suitable for all skin types, all ages, and all genders. And after just 8 weeks, you get a 100% increase in skin moisture, a 96% decrease in roughness, a 73% increase in radiance, a 32% decrease in lines and wrinkles, a 31% increase in skin tone, and a 21% increase in firmness. No other company in the world can make these claims. It was introduced in Japan a couple years ago. They went crazy. They care very much about their complexion. It's the most competitive market on earth. And it was introduced after that here in the United States. It is absolutely remarkable. It's the safest line of skincare, the healthiest line. And remember, the skin has two parts, two sides. The outside, which is where this is so good, and the inside. And Manatech has a nutritional supplementation to really impact on the inside. So let's take a look at how to cleanse, balance, nourish, replenish, and soothe. You begin first of all with a face cleansing cream, and this has kind of like pumice from volcanoes, and it takes all the bad stuff, all the grit that accumulates during the day off of you. And then you have the cleansing oil, which is great to use if you put makeup on and all that sort of thing. And so this is the cleansing oil. So that gets your face squeaky clean. And then the next thing, it would be this skin lotion. And this goes on very light. And this begins the hydration process. And then we follow that with a skin serum. And the collagen is a plant source. So that's good. And this is a skin serum. And then after that is absorbed, or maybe while that's being absorbed, you put on the eye cream. And this goes around your eyes. And then you can put on the skin cream all over the rest of you. It has a little applicator here. And that's the skin cream. And then finally, if you wish, you can put on the aftershave milk, they call it. And this is for us guys, primarily, after we shave. The legs for the ladies. And all of this is available in a little travel pack that you can carry with you. Now we also have a product that's like an antiseptic. This has the active ingredient that made aloe vera so famous. The product is called Emprazone, and this is more material on Emprazone. And this has no parabens either. And it's for cuts and bruises and scrapes and sunburns and the sorts of things that your grandmother used to cut an aloe leaf to squeeze the gel on you. And they have little ones to travel, little for kits. So if you want to look better, not only do we have the fat loss program, but we have the finest line of skincare that Clinique, Avon, Mary Kay, Arbonne, they just can't compete. Once you try this, you'll be absolutely delighted.